Good morning. And in democratically elected governments, major job in the parliament is to bring out legislative measures. And the purpose of those legislative measures is to improve the quality of the life, to ensure safety of the property and the lives of the people, and to enhance the well-being of the people in all respects. And any government, whatever ism they might be following, is duty-bound to ensure proper, efficient, and productive legislative work. The legislative process is indicative of the capability of government to govern efficiently, effectively, and in the best interest of the citizens. So let's have a reality check of the Trudeau government. It is going to be 2 years since the government came into power, and the leader of the House, Bardish Chaggar, has been very vocal, saying time and again that the Liberals have an ambitious legislative agenda. We are happy to know that. So let's see how much they have done in 2 years. Compared to any previous majority government, any previous, whether it was Liberal or Conservative, we can see that the record of Justin Trudeau's government is very weak. Since coming into office, they have passed only 17 government bills. Now, 17 government bills being passed by a majority government is not something to crow about. You see, and when we see that some of the bills have been meaningless and or have been in pipeline for years, then the number or the efficacy reduces still further. So here's a summary of the Liberal lawmaking with a few sitting weeks remaining for the House of calendar. And this number can change at the government's behest. I am not taking into consideration the private members' bills, which do not originate from the government ministers. Two of the private bills that were passed were the Good Samaritan Drug Overdose Act and Genetic Non-Discrimination Act. There are more on the docket, including one to make national anthem, O Canada, gender neutral. So what's in the House? There are 19 government bills which are at the second reading stage, and all but one of which is regarding the motor vehicle safety, will make their way to the upper chamber. One of the budget implementation bills, C-44, must take precedent over others. And there's still another bill that proposes to legislate and legalize marijuana. Two bills are being studied in the committees. One would make changes to the Stats Canada, and one that facilitates pre-clearance of the goods and the people across Canada and US border. A law which forces corporations to explain themselves if they do not have enough diversity on the boards is also one of the bills. At present, I'm not talking about the merits of the bills, but I'm talking about the bills. I don't understand that why in this time only 17 bills could be passed and 19 bills are pending, and the 19 are the government bills. And now let's have a look at the work of Senate The job of the Senate, the second house, is to ruminate, to think, to study the pros and cons, that nothing is passed in a hurry and no lacuna is left. 4 different bills were amended by the Senate and they have to be looked back by the House of Commons. If the House of Commons rejects those amendments, they go back to Senate before they can become a law. 1 year back, almost 1 year back, actually it is just 5 days to 1 year, Senate sent Bill C5, which is concerned with changing the union rules of RCMP. But the government has been too busy with the Prime Minister going to Aga Khan's palace, island, and welcoming refugees, that in 1 year they have not been able to look at the amendment, which is a 2-line amendment. The Liberals indicated recently that they will reject the amendments brought forward in the first law projects. I am referring to Bill C4, which reverses the conservative law regarding labor. And the Labour Minister said that the Senate changes that require secret ballot than the signed union cards would be bad for labor relations. Now, let's study this statement of the Labour Minister. Secret voting is the hallmark of any democratic process. And to say, as per Bill C4, that the members of the union should elect the union by signed cards is making a mockery of democracy and the secrecy of voting. The amendment by the Senate was a very sensible suggestion, and that would make for the harmonious working of the unions. Here, when you are electing the union leaders by signed cards, and the people who are elected have not been voted for by those people, because they'll know who has voted for them, there will be discrimination, there will be recriminations, and there might be victimization. There's quite a possibility that the union bosses and the owners enter into a conspiracy to harass those workers who did not vote for the bosses. So, as a matter of fact, what Minister Petty Hadju is saying is a contradiction in terms. Then Senate passed last week 2 amended bills. Bill C4, which repeals Tory citizenship laws, and Bill C37, which amends controlled drugs and substances according to Health Canada. Now, at present, there are 7 government bills which are lying in Senate. Bill C22, which appoints and arranges for a National Security Oversight Committee. It is still to go through the second reading. Now imagine the country is facing, may not the government might admit it, but then that's a fact, that the security is one of the major issues that faces any country today. Security need not only be a danger from the enemy abroad, it can also be danger from within. And what we have seen in Europe, what we have seen even in Middle East and Afghanistan, and just yesterday in Iran, shows that there is an urgent need to have in Security Oversight Committee. But no, there are 2 more committees. One is the Transgender Bill, C16, which is still not been implemented, and C30, a comprehensive trade union and trade agreement with European Union. Then, I'm amazed. Gender equality is a bumblebee in the bonnet of Justin Trudeau. Well, Bill S3, which is supposed to be based with sex-based inequities, has been stalled for months because the Centre's and the Senate's Aboriginal Committee member expresses discontent. So when we see whether it's House of Commons or Senate, 17 bills passed, 19 in the House, 7 in the Senate, all under discussion. Is the government discharging its legislative duties? Are the legislators, the members of parliament, the ministers, are they earning their salaries? Why do we not have a performance review of the parliament, its members, the leaders, the whips? In any industry, in any business, every employee's performance is conducted. And based on the performance, the employee can be terminated, his salary docked, or any other disciplinary action taken. If a performance of the parliament is properly appraised, we will find that they have failed miserably in the performance of their duties. They have shown not only their inaptitude, but absolutely rank inefficiency. And that inefficiency is a token of their incompetence. The tragedy is that despite their inefficiency, despite their incompetence, they are getting salary increases. Recently, a couple of months back, the salary of the Prime Minister and the ministers increased appreciably. Is that a reward for incompetence? Would this happen in any business? And governance is a business, let's not forget it. We have elected the legislators to jobs, and their performance earns them an F grade. They are failing. Should they be rewarded or should they be punished? That's $1 million question the electorate has to decide. As a matter of fact, they deserve censure, criticism, and punishment. And we find that they are being rewarded because of the tragedy that they are authorized to reward themselves, whether they are competent or not competent. So what do we need? We need an other body, a supra-parliament body, a sort of ombudsman, who would review the performance of the legislators. Auditor General is already doing it, but he is doing what is happening. The conduct, the day-to-day working, not regarding the performance. Either we add to the Auditor General's job the right to conduct performance appraisals of the MPs and the ministers, and then see how hollow their work is. The alternative is to have an ombudsman or a performance review commissioner who gives an annual report to the people of Canada that this is what the ministers and the MPs were supposed to do, and this is what they have done. He also reports how they have played ducks and drakes with time, and time is money. I can understand that some issues will take a long time to legislate about. But when things like transgender laws and legalizing pot or something which is very simple, it takes years. Or for example, 1 year to decide whether the voting to the labor union should be secret or not. when those issues cannot be legislated. That is sad comment on the competence of the parliament, which is supreme, which expresses the will of the people. I hope and trust that the government will wake up to its responsibilities and start working. I hope and trust that the legislature will decide, come to recognize the fact that they have been elected to perform a certain job, and they should do it. At least let them be true to themselves if they are not true to the nation. I know they are patriotic. I am fully aware that they do want to serve the nation, but possibly they are not competent enough to do it. I wish they were more competent. They were governed by MBO, management by objectives. And here is LBO, legislate by objectives. That is a prime need today. And any delay can be harmful. Thank you.